It looks like we are streaming. So, hello, Melissa. Do you want to say hello briefly before I introduce you to our beloved community?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here and to be able to connect with you and have this time with you guys. So let's dive in.
Let's dive in. So, today is going to be a juicy deep dive. We've got Melissa Ambrosini here. She's a wife, she's a mama, a multiple time best-selling author, a top-rated podcaster, speaker, successful entrepreneur, all of the things. And what I feel excited to talk about today is this mind, body, spirit connection, you know, being nurturers by nature. Those who primarily listen to this podcast, those primarily that I serve, are those who identify as women. I am not a mother yet, but I've always known that I was meant to be a mother. And then I found you and I did watch your TEDx talk, and I've been following you for a bit, and our journeys are similar. And I'm starting to notice, right? There's like this debilitating crisis. And for you and I, it was a health crisis that then activated this, right? It was like the catalyst of living a life of wholeness. And so I want to talk about what it means to be a whole woman and a whole mother during this time to be alive. So with that, let's dive right in. Do you want to share a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, well, you kind of covered off a lot of the things that I do, a lot of the hats that I currently wear. And mother is definitely one of my favorite ones to wear. And it's been such a beautiful journey. I have been a stepmother for 10 years and a mother to my beautiful daughter that I birthed for almost 2 years. And it's just been the most magical, expansive, personal development, spiritual journey,
Mm.
and one that I will be on forever.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you don't know much about my journey, but very similar. Over a decade of debilitating hormonal issues, had undiagnosed PCOS, and when I was pretty much a puddle on the floor, just at my wit's end, that's when I just had this wave come over me of I can do this. And I know I'm getting emotional, right? Because I remember that moment, and within 6 months completely healed myself after over 10 years of doctors telling me I needed to be on medications and there was no fix. I've been medication free ever since. And what happened was it initiated me into this healing journey of my physical body, and it opened me up spiritually, emotionally, and it keeps expanding. And I want this for the world. And I see that in you. And you've been a very inspiring woman and leader in the space of, alternative health and personal development, and really showing women that you can have it all and you can do it all. And it gets to be messy, and it's not going to be perfect, but that's the journey. So I just truly want to thank you for being one of the torch bearers of, this new paradigm of feminine leadership.
Thank you so much. And yes, our paths sound very similar. That's for sure.
Yeah. So do you want to give a brief, I think it was in 2010-ish. Do you want to just give a brief, share around that catalyst moment that propelled you into your life now? Because it's no accident that any interview I have, right, any person that you see that's supporting others during this time has a journey very similar, different experience, right? Different minutia and details, but it's always the same. So if you want to share that so people can, recognize what's possible for their life if they're feeling hopeless at this time.
Mm. Mm. Yes, I began my inward journey in October 2010. Before that, I was living a life completely out of alignment with my higher self. I was partying, not taking care of myself, not sleeping, eating junk food, taking drugs, just medicating with anything I could get my hands on, had anxiety, depression, eating disorders. And I was a professional dancer and actress and did TV presenting and modeling. And I kept on ignoring all of these warning signs in my life that were trying to tell me to stop and slow down and to course correct and get on my true path, and I kept on ignoring them. And like, I can clearly remember so many different moments where the universe was trying to tell me something and I was like, nope, and I'll keep going. Nope,
Yep.
I'll keep going. And then it was this final pivotal moment in my life, that I ended up in hospital, and my whole life changed from that moment. I had so many health issues, and I was in hospital for a week. And it was in hospital where I thought, surely God did not put us here on earth to suffer. That was the realization I had. I was like, because I was suffering, I was in so much physical and mental pain. And I was like, surely we're not here to suffer. Like, I grew up Catholic. I'm like, God wouldn't have done this. Like, it just was mind boggling to me. And then, prior to that, I had started dabbling in this thing called yoga and meditation. And I was like, oh, these feel good. These
Yep.
feel better than going out partying and having cocktails. These feel better than trashing my body with junk food and not sleeping and prescription drugs and things like that. And so I kept on leaning more into these things called Kundalini yoga and meditation and all these things. And so by the time I had gotten into hospital, it was literally like the rug had been pulled out from underneath me. And a new-ish friend at the time sent me a care package. There was a couple of them. There was 3 of them. And these were new friends that I just met in yoga, probably like 2 weeks before. And they sent me a care package to the hospital that I was in, because I was in a different state. And in that care package, there was like angel cards, healing herbs and creams, and all of these like woo-woo things that I had never really been exposed to until like just before that. Crystals, all these things. And there was a book in there that literally changed my life. And I read that book whilst I was in hospital, and it was Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life.
It's
And
on
I
my
was
shelf all
literally,
the time.
literally, this was me reading the book. I was like, and then I'm like, Mom, why didn't you tell me this?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, darling, I was doing the best that I could. And yes, they were like, and they are. But I'm like, Mom, why didn't you tell me that we create our own reality? Why didn't you tell me that I can choose love instead of fear? Why didn't you tell me that I was designing my life? And these things were just like popping up to me. And I'm just like, how have I never known these things? And in that hospital, my life changed. I made such a dramatic shift in every area of my life. I literally cleaned up my whole diet. I removed toxic relationships. I quit my job. I literally wiped the slate clean of every area of my life, and I started from scratch. And I had a big healing journey to go on, a very big healing journey, because I had so much like physical healing I'm talking about, and internal healing too, but emotional healing, I mean, sorry. But the physical side of things was really big for me. I had so much to work through. And it was such a journey. And that was October 2010. I literally also vowed to quit alcohol. So I have not had a sip of alcohol since October 2010, not a sip. And that's something that I don't ever even think about, doesn't even cross my mind anymore. So yeah, I literally changed my life. And after that, I started this thing called a blog, and I began sharing what I was learning, all of the health stuff that I was learning, all of the mindset stuff that I was learning. And that is how it all kind of began for me. I went on and studied holistic nutrition, life coaching, yoga teacher training, meditation teacher training, acuenergetics, psychology, like all of these incredible things, and began sharing it on my blog. I started running events. I got a book deal. I started a podcast. and literally have just since 2011 been sharing everything that I know and learn, and creating online programs and all sorts of things to help other people, because I'm just sharing what's helped me, and I know that it will help others as well. And it's been such a wild, expansive, fun journey, and I'm still on it, and I will be on it till the day I take my last breath.
Ah, I love your story because I can relate, right? This is the power of being vulnerable and right, not claiming that we are on this pedestal. And that is what I believe this, whole holistic feminine leader, mother, woman, this is the difference, right? It's like we're not claiming to be anything that we're not. There's no more masks, there's no more compartmentalization, right? It's simply, this is where I was at and I will never go back. And I've learned so much on my journey. And if I can help one person, then that's enough for me. And right. And now you're reaching millions through your multiple platforms. And very similar journey. I had undiagnosed PCOS. I was told that my progesterone levels were so low that at the time I wouldn't be able to conceive. I had just gotten engaged to my now husband. So I wasn't in that phase of wanting to conceive at that time, but that was like, oh, no, 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 this is not right. And it was just this knowing that I know, it was just this wave of, I know what my body needs. I was asking for different panels as I was researching and advocating, and I couldn't even get doctors to do what I was asking. And within 6 months, I mean, a completely different life. And it was the same thing. And for me, my spiritual journey started before that. And then I lost it again. I lost a best friend when I was in college, and she was in one car and I went in another, and that car got in an accident. And it was like, I just had these massive moments. I had a near-death experience when I was 2 years old, right? It was just like all of these things that lead us to this moment right here, right now. And what I'm excited to chat with you about is I have been wanting to become a mother, but like still not feeling ready, but not from a state of fear, just from this place of knowing that it's not yet time. And I can feel my spirit baby. She's very vocal. I've been connecting with her for actually a couple of years now. And I can just feel that there's this contract, like, no, you get to be at this level, at this stage, feeling this good in your body, feeling this grounded in this present. And I've recognized that I've been on a conscious conception journey that's really with just myself for the last few years. And you popped into my world, and I'm so grateful that I found you and I found you through Danielle Page. And I will also say that it's been a very fast awakening journey for me. And I've spent a lot of time not consuming things and being very discerning with who I'm receiving from, so that I could listen to my inner compass on a deeper level. And I can count them on one hand, and you're one of them, and I'm curious to hear about your journey because I think it's fun. I know your story with your beloved partner. And I think it'd be fun to share, right? How you just knew and how you were preparing your body before you were actually ready to claim motherhood. So I think that would be a fun place to dive into next.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Um, Gosh, you and I are so similar. I had a near-death experience. I lost a friend close to me, my
Whew.
best friend,
Wow.
and undiagnosed PCOS, like sister,
Woo!
like we're on the same page here. But yes, going back to meeting my husband and preparing for a baby. So I had known my husband for 3 years before we got together. We were just like we knew each other. We'd see each other at events. I'm like, hi, you're handsome, you're taken, but you're a good catch. That's the extent that I would let my mind kind of go to with him. I knew he was like a serial monogamous, like he is in long-term relationships, like he is a die-hard lover, romantic. And so he was in this long-term relationship, and I was like, yeah, they're gonna get married. And I was in a relationship, so yeah, but I would see him at events, and I'm like, he's handsome and he's a good catch. And then we kept on finding ourselves being put in the same room. We were both single at the same time. We'd both done so much internal work. We kept on being put in the same room. We were drawn to each other. I would just sit there and I was like, tell me everything. I want to know your whole life story. And we just got together very quickly. We fell in love so quickly. He proposed to me after 2 weeks of being together. And then 5 months later, we got married. And this was in 2014. So we're going on like almost 10 years. 9 years is our wedding. And this year is 9 years. So 10 years next year. And I just knew, like I knew straight away. And people had told me, and this is what Open Wide, my second book, is all about. It's called Open Wide, a radically real guide to deep love, rocking relationships, and soulful sex. And I talk all about relationships and soulmates and all of that goodness in that book. And I share this story. And people would say to me, when you know, Melissa. And I'm like, whatever. That is the biggest load of BS. And then I met him and I was like, ah, I know. You are my person. Yes, I get it now. And I would tell my friends who had said that to me, I'd say, oh, you told me when you know, and now I know. And they're like, I know, how good is it? And so we got together very quickly. We knew straight away that we were going to have babies one day, but we both knew that it was not for a very long time. We were both building our careers. It was nowhere in that immediate future. So this was 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then I woke up one morning and I rolled over to him and I said, I'm ready. And he was like, just like that? And I was like, just like that. Literally overnight, that maternal switch was flicked on within me. And let me back up one sec, because from the moment we met, we went and saw a naturopathic doctor and we said, we want to do all the tests to get ready for a baby. And she was like, oh, that's so sweet. When are you guys thinking of trying? And we were like, 7 years. And she was like, what do you mean 7 years? I was like, yeah, we're just getting ready. Like, we don't want to have a baby right now, but we're just getting ready now. And they were like, what do you mean? She was like scratching her head. Anyway, which a really good holistic doctor would not scratch their head. They would be like, great, go for it. Like you got to get in and start doing this work now, right? Which I talk about in my program, Holy Mama. It is never too early to prime your body, mind, and soul for conception. And in fact, if you are not pregnant right now, or if you have decided that you are done having babies or you don't want babies, then you are in what is called trimester 0. You are in conscious conception mode right now. From the moment you get your period, you are in trimester 0. Even if babies are not for like 10, 15 years, you're still in trimester 0. And so I woke up, fast forward, I would prep my body, mind, and soul. I read every pregnancy birthing book. My whole Instagram was just covered with empowered birthing accounts. I was obsessed. My friends would come over and I'd have piles of books of empowered birthing, orgasmic birthing. And they'd be like, are you pregnant? And I would say no. And they're like, are you guys trying? And I'm like, no, we're like nowhere even near that yet. So I was very aware. And then I have a top rated podcast with, over 24 million downloads. And so I got to interview the world's best experts and doctors and scientists and fertility gurus. And I would literally just ask them all the questions that I wanted to ask them, and I read every one of their books. So That was amazing. And then fast forward to when I woke up and I rolled over to Nick and I said, I'm ready. And he was like, okay, just like that. And so then we decided to wait to the following January and we started going for it. And it didn't happen straight away. To my absolute shock, I was like, but I've been preparing for this for 7 years. What do you mean it's not happening? Like, I'm the most well-researched, educated, non-pregnant woman I think on the planet. Like, I don't understand. I'm so healthy, I'm young, I don't get it. And so that then propelled me down an even steeper dive into this world of internal healing, because I was doing all the physical stuff and it just took me even deeper onto my journey. And during this whole 7-8 year period, my husband was saying to me, you're going to write a book about all of this one day. You're going to write a book about all of this one day. You're going to write a book about all of this one day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure. And then instead of writing the book, which I will write, I created the program, Holy Mama. And that's what's out right now. And the doors close on the 24th in Australia and the 23rd in America next week. And it's truly the most magical program for anyone who one day wants to have a baby, even if that is like in 10 years, like it was for me. And so, yeah, it took us 18 months to conceive our beautiful daughter. She's now almost 2. And it was the hardest, most challenging, heartbreaking 18 months of my life, because my heart yearned to be a mother so deeply. And every time I would get my period, I just felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest because I wanted it so badly. And then when we finally conceived, which you can watch the video where we find out.
I watched it.
Oh, I still cry. I've watched that video so many times, and every time I bawl my eyes out, because it's just so raw, you know? And then, yeah, we had the most beautiful, empowering home birth. I was in the pool. It was beautiful. And, you know, it's been almost 2 years of her being earthside, and it's just the most magical and expansive experience. And she is so happy and healthy and thriving. And I truly believe that a big part of that was because of all of the conscious conception prep, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual prep that I did leading up to getting pregnant with her, during my pregnancy, and now to this day. Because being a holy mama isn't just about the conception side of things. It's a commitment to showing up as the best version of yourself. It's about a holy mama integrates the body, the mind, and the soul into everything that she does, into the conception, into the pregnancy, into the birth, into the way that she mothers, into her work, into her relationships. Everything is integrated, and that's what a holy mama is. And now this beautiful program teaches women how to get their body, mind, and soul into perfect alignment for them to create the beautiful experience of motherhood. And so we cover conscious conception, and then you can upgrade to become a VIP mama, and you get all about powerful pregnancies. You get all the modules on empowered birthing, blissful postpartums, and conscious parenting. So you can get all of that too when you upgrade. And yeah, it's just a magical, magical program. We had hundreds of people, including you, in the first round, and now the doors are open right now, which is super exciting. But you did the program. Tell me what you got out of it.
Yeah, I think what truly connected me to your story was the piece. I'll never forget. I think you taught like a workshop or a master class, and you mentioned that you forgot that it wasn't just you and Nick. It was your spirit baby. It was Bambi's on, right? And that the humanness of like feeling that deep desire and not being able to have that realized and actualized yet. And then, right, all of that prep work you did, and then the journey of not having it, right? Thinking like, oh, I've got this. And then having 18 months of right? And just living your life in those 2-week cycles. And I just felt deeply connected because to you and your story, because it's like the humanness of that. And I would imagine at this point in time, you wouldn't take any of it back, right? Like you may not have developed this program. You may not be such an advocate for holy mamas around the world. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everything is always happening for our
Yeah.
growth and for our evolution and for our expansion. And when you're in it, I know you can forget that and you can feel like, why is this happening? Like,
Yeah.
why me? But when we slide into that victim mentality, and I literally posted about this on my Instagram stories today, like when we slide into that, why me? Why is this happening to me? Life is happening to me instead of for me. That is a slippery slope down into darkness and pain and suffering. And I've been there. I know what that's like. It sucks.
Yeah.
And so I always think, okay, that sucked. Now what? Like, what is the lesson? What is the gift? Like, why is this happening? Right? Why is this happening?
Mm.
And do I need to shift? Whatever it is. And so yeah, it's
Mm.
opened me up to deeper levels of growth within myself. And now I get to teach other people how to do it. And it's so rewarding and so beautiful. And I truly want holy mamas all over the world, because when we create holy mamas, they raise holy children, well adapted, conscious babies. And they are the next generation. They are going to change the world. These light beams that are coming in right now. Like I was having a chat to one of my friends yesterday, and he was like, the kids that are coming in through like conscious parents right now, they're just like, like they are coming in hot. And just to talk to that piece that you mentioned before, that a big piece for me was remembering that it isn't just about my journey, and not even mine. There was so many times during it where I was like, why isn't this happening for me? And then I'm like, but this is also Nick's journey too. And then it's also Bambi's journey. Like she has her own soul contract. She has her own spiritual journey and evolution. And how like ignorant of me to make this all about me. Well, I want a baby right now because it's my timeline and it suits when I want it. But what about Nick? What about Bambi? What about the whole dynamic of the family? What about the whole dynamic of the planet? Because every time a being comes into this earth space, the planet shifts, right? And then on a even micro level, like when a child comes into a home, the entire dynamic of that family shifts.
Yeah.
The grandparents shift. Everyone's relationship shifts. Everyone, all of your friends, or everything shifts. And so when I remembered that, I could exhale and go, it's all happening the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. And that's honestly what drew me in. And it's funny, I had my cleaning couple. There's a couple who lives in my neighborhood who comes over and helps me clean my house every couple weeks. And they were coming and cleaning and seeing books, like pregnancy books and all over the house. And it was that same thing where I was dabbling, and I watched your interview on Danielle Page's Instagram, and I'm like, it's her. Like, it's her. And it was a knowing, I need to buy this program. And what I love again is there's, first of all, the price point blows my mind. I love that I have lifetime access. I listen to it. So I've only gone through the preconception, trimester 0 phase, and I'm going slowly. And then I listened again, actually a couple of weeks ago, which is why I reached out to you. And little did I know that you were about to launch the program again. I signed up for VIP, and I love it because I know that, and I love how there's different experts and there's a constant theme. Like they all have their own flair in medicine, but I know that I'm meant to have an empowered home birth. I know that I've been preparing my body through this hormone journey, right? I've been cycle syncing, right? I read Do Less. I know you had Kate Northrup and her mom on your podcast, right? I've been in this world for so long
Mm.
that I know that I've been setting the foundation, and it's time for me to really go all in, do the testing, right? Truly detoxify the body and prepare
Mm.
for this next layer, next level of my life. And I know that my babies, the girl that's coming in though, is sassy. She's powerful. She's like, no, like, we're going to do the damn thing. And I need you, and you're going to need me. And we're going to do this together as a family. And it's amazing. The platform's beautiful. It's simple. I don't do a lot of programs. I haven't signed up for a program and I can't tell you how long. And what I also love is I'm sharing stats. So I'm a former engineer. Left that corporate male dominated industry. I've been a business owner for the last 6 years. I love to have a solid foundation. So I love that there's the science, there's the research, but it's not overwhelming. And again, it has all of the parts. Again, we are whole beings. We're not compartmentalized. So I love that it covers the whole human, the whole person, the whole mother. And then I also love that I can tell my husband little statistics and I can say, hey, babe, like, I want to do this together, right? This isn't just me. And I can throw some stats at him and his analyzer mind can kind of go. So honestly, I'm blown away by the content. I have taken notes and then I implement some things, a lot of things I was already doing, like my blue light blocking glasses and my eye, it's like, I love biohacking, but I just, every week or so, I'm like, what else can I do? Like, what else can I do? And I'm moving from the beach of Florida to the mountains of North Carolina. And I know that that's why I'm supposed to have this big transition. My husband left corporate last year. We are both truly just like you and Nick were. It's like, yeah, we needed to finally be on path with our life's work, be in this location that fills our soul up, and start this process. So I want to let everybody know that I do love hearing, there's an orgasmic birth chat and I haven't gotten there yet, but I am going to start to listen to some of the next modules just to get excited and to prepare. But right now it's like, I got what I need and I can go back when I'm ready for the next phase.
Yes.
So I love it.
Oh, babe, I'm so happy that you got so much out of it and you're still getting so much out of it and it's resonating so deeply with you. And like I said, there is no too early to prepare yourself for this stuff because it's not just about physical, it's about the fears that come up around birth that you need to look at. I had a beautiful home birth, an empowering home birth. And it's because of the work that I did to before I gave birth, and I teach all of this in the program. So
Yeah.
if you one day want to have a baby, this program is for you, or more babies, this program is for you. It's only not for you if you've decided you don't want to have any more babies or you never want to have a baby. But other than that, this program is for you, and you are never too young and you are never too old. And if you are going down the IVF route, you will still get so much out of this. Because it's just about getting your body, mind, and soul into the best shape, the best alignment for you to conceive.
And, even my sister has a almost 2-year-old son, right? There's a conscious parenting section, right? And so
Mhm.
it's like, there's, for the value that you're getting, it's, this is that, right? We think like, okay, but I've already had kids, or maybe you have a newborn, or maybe you have a toddler, like the value that you're going to get just from the conscious parenting module, is amazing. And, why I love, if you're in this community, many of the people listening are in the alternative health space, right? And, understand functional medicine, understand, that there's the over medicalization of birth, for example, of anything that we have, right? The Band-Aid fix. And I love that it comes from the way that you and all of your guest experts present the information is, from this lens of no judgment. There's a time and a need and a place for, acute medicine and emergency medicine. And this is about you feeling as good as possible, because it's only going to get more dynamic when you bring children into this world. And that is what I'm so excited about. Is I've never felt more alive. I've never felt more on fire. And I've never been more inspired in my business, and just seeing everything lock into place. And it's like, yeah, this is what I was waiting for. I wasn't in fear. I wasn't saying it wasn't the right time and wanting everything to be perfect. I wanted this level of vitality. And I love to geek out, but that whole baby world, there's so much stuff. So I feel like it's the perfect amount of like, you're gonna get it and you can do it in your own time. And take your time, because this is important. It's probably the most important job you'll ever have.
Yes. And it blows my mind that people do zero. Some people do zero prep. Like, just maybe take a multi and rock up to get a scheduled, C-section, and that's it. And I know people who have done that. And I'm just like, and they have really struggled on their parenting journey. The thing is, this program, Holy Mama, is about you being the best, healthiest, happiest version of you, right? Physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That's what this program is about. You can do the program even if you don't want to have kids, and you'll get so much out of it. Like, this is just about health and mindset. And so it's so interesting that, people just do zero. Some people just do zero prep. And it's the biggest thing that you will do in your life. Like, physically, the biggest marathon that you will run. Breastfeeding, oh my gosh, like, breastfeeding is a huge energy. Like, you need energy. And I talk about this a lot. I talk about the mothering energy, because like, everyone has energy. Like, you have energy, an energy system. Like, you have an energy tank, right? And you know what fills your energy tank, and you know what depletes it. But when you become a mother, you have a different tank, right? You need to fill that tank. And it starts way before. It starts in conception, because you need energy to mother. Like, when I don't have a good night's sleep, not because of my daughter, but because of me, like if I've got stuff on my mind or whatever, I then am not showing up as the best version of me that next day. And so I need to pull things out of my mothering energy toolkit to boost my energy. It's just so important. And Holy Mama teaches you how to do all of that. It is literally like, I wish we were all taught this early on, like even in our early 20s, we were taught this stuff, or even straight out of school. I know a lot of people don't have children then, but our parents did. But at least you have the knowledge and the wisdom, and then you can pull it out when you actually need it. And like right now, I'm starting to think about baby number 2. I am going to take myself back through the entire program and do that, because it's so important that we do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I have all these little nuggets coming through around what I've learned, just again, the health of my family, the health of my loved ones, the health of my husband, the people in my life. Right. And so I agree that even if it's just a small seed in your mind and you're like, one day, I think that this is a possibility, you have lifetime access. And I would imagine the price will eventually go up, because it still blows my mind. So I'll put everything, in the show notes. You can absolutely reach out to me. You'll have all the ways to, connect on the Holy Mama website, Melissa's website, and all the ways to get in touch with her. She's all over the place on Instagram, writing more books. She just wrote a new book with her beloved, Time magic. So this is it. Like, her life didn't stop. It's a both and. She's a whole mama, woman, leader, entrepreneur. And that is so inspiring to me because we have been modeled that your life needs to stop and it needs to be hard. And I believe it's because we didn't have the tools and the support that we have now to be able to still live this life of truly having it all. So is there anything you want to say about your book or anything else before we close off?
Well, firstly, it's WHOLYMAMA, holymama.com. DM me on Instagram if you have any questions about it, and I will get back to you. The doors close next week. This is the last time I will ever be doing this live. So if you want me live in there with you answering your questions, this is the last time I'm ever going to do that. So jump on. Doors close next week, 23rd in America, 24th in Australia. Holy Mama, WHOLYMAMA.com. And yes, being a mother is one of my greatest gifts, the greatest joys, like my most important role, the most important hat that I wear. I love it so much. And I still love creating my work. I love podcasting. I love writing books. I love being creative. I love serving women. And people say to me, how on earth do you do it? And I moved to a kind of a bit of a small town pre-baby. We moved out of a big, huge city and we moved to a small town. And a lot of my friends here are stay-at-home moms. And so they just look at me like, how on earth do you do it? This is how I do it. With everything that Nick and I talk about in this book, all of the tools, all of the tips, all of the tricks, all of the time magic hacks that we talk about in this book is how we run businesses and still be very conscious, present parents and still have a thriving relationship and friendships and do all of the things that we do. This is how. This is it. Time magic. Reclaim your time, reclaim your life. And do you know what's really interesting is people are really ready for this right now. Pre-orders have been going off the charts. Off the charts. We were like in the top 10, I think, in Amazon pre-orders globally, which is just amazing. And people are just like ready for up leveling their life and taking everything, to the next level and being able to do it all with, grace and love and not burning themselves out in the process. So head to timemagic.me to get your copy and make sure you pre-order and you can get some epic bonuses that we've created for you. But that is only available until April 4th. And we've got the Time Magic Toolkit, which is an amazing toolkit, which is one of the bonuses. And then we created a audio masterclass called How Successful People Start Their Day. So it's 40 plus world experts, doctors, New York Times bestselling authors, how they start their day. Because I think you can learn so much from these people of how they prime themselves for the day. So you can get those two bonuses when you pre-order before April 4. And timemagic.me. That's it.
Well, now I'm going to go ahead and pre-order because I saw on the website earlier, I think Dr. Zach Bush and Marianne Williamson, right? Like there's people again that like, I want to know, right? Just to continue this service. Like my heart wants to be of service so badly. And I also know how deeply family means to me and having that dynamic as motherhood. I can only imagine the spiritual and evolutionary journey that motherhood brings us all into, especially in this conscious journey. So thank you for coming on here. Thank you for creating this amazing program. It is supporting me. I can't wait to DM you one day and say, I did it. I've
Yes.
got a baby cooking in the oven. And I
And
do
make
feel
sure when that day happens, you do that, because I get lots of those and I get lots of emails, and it's just the best. It lights me up so much. So please send those to me.
yeah, just being in the Facebook group and right, like as the program was going on and all of these women from around the globe saying, "Oh my gosh," and that sisterhood that's so powerful in celebration too. So I'm gonna move to the mountains and I'm gonna make a baby. That's what it's feeling like.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so beautiful.
Thank you. I so appreciate it. All right. Much love.
Bye, honey. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for listening in.